Well, 2 people are dead, 2 police officers hurt, and it all started with a chase that led to a deadly shootout.
Yeah, the shootout then resulted in a deadly crash. It all happened near Highway 285 near Roswell. 30-year-old Cristobal Quintana, a one-time bank robber, was killed when officers returned fire. New Mexico State Police say they had tried to pull over Quintana after a reported domestic dispute, but he had taken off. Spike strips stopped his car. That's when the shootout began. One state police sergeant was injured but has since been released from the hospital. Officials say a Roswell police officer was critically injured after a semi-truck did not apparently slow down for the bottleneck that was caused by the shooting scene. Now, the semi hit 3 other vehicles, killing one of the drivers and injuring the officer directing traffic. He was airlifted to a hospital in Texas and is in critical condition. We'll keep you posted as this investigation continues.
Well, the Department of Health is now investigating a handful of pneumonia cases at an elementary school here in Albuquerque. 5 students at Sandia Base Elementary have come down with the infection since the end of September. 3 of them had to go to the hospital because of this, but all have recovered. APS sent this letter home to parents yesterday advising that if students develop a cough or a fever, they should show the letter to their doctors. Well, a mom here in New Mexico has found herself in the middle of a national controversy after she refused to get her 3-year-old son chemotherapy and gave him marijuana instead. Sierra Riddle's son, Landon, was diagnosed with leukemia last September. She said he was put on chemo and radiation at the time and went into remission in late November. On January, she stopped his chemo treatments and started him on cannabis oil because she says it soothed his symptoms and helped him heal. But Landon's doctors were not on board with that, saying the child needed chemo for the next 3 years. Ms. Riddle said they even threatened to take her son away from her.
It's crazy, and it's an infringement upon my parental rights that I should be able to choose whatever treatment for my child that I think is the best, as long as it is an effective treatment.
Sierra Riddle says she has the blood test to prove her treatment is working, but rather than risk losing her son, she resumed his chemo treatments. In the meantime, she is looking into a doctor in Phoenix who says that he would back off the steroids and reduce the amount of chemo. Well, today is the day low-income families or those who need a legal help can get it for free. It's the annual Lollapalooza event sponsored by the 2nd Judicial District Pro Bono Committee. If you need free legal help, bring all your paperwork to the Raymond G. Sanchez Community Center on 4th Street Northwest. It's just north of Alameda. Between 3 and 6 this afternoon, you meet with volunteer lawyers. That's done on a first-come, first-served basis. Well, the Martinez administration is looking to increase the pay for state positions that have high vacancy rates, particularly those dealing with child protection caseworkers, police and correction officers, and juvenile justice workers. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican Democratic Representative Lucky Varela, asked the governor in a letter Friday to fill the vacancies in the Children, Youth and Families Department Protective Services Division. Varela says high vacancy rates in positions protecting at-risk children contribute to staff getting burned out, and that creates even more vacancies.
The September jobs report is late, 2 weeks delayed. The reason? The partial government shutdown. It's expected to appear today, but according to FactSet, a financial data and software company, economists are already forecasting 180,000 jobs were added in September. The unemployment rate is expected to remain at 7.3%. This jobs report will carry less weight than usual because the shutdown slowed growth and hiring. Experts say that will likely be reflected in October's job report, which experts predict will be disappointing as well. Some Westside residents in Albuquerque are gearing up for another battle over prime property. Last year, protesters stopped a plan to put a huge Walmart in at Corza Montano, but now the city is planning on presenting some documents that show a developer wants to build there and are hoping to avoid public comment.
Our concern is that there's no public comment of what they're planning to do now.
All right, that developer, Silver Leaf, says that the City Environmental Planning Commission approved a plan in the mid-2000s, arguing that they don't need the public's input to build. The EPC is meeting in November to see if the building plan is still valid. Walmart, by the way, says it doesn't have anything in the works for the West Side area, but the company is open to building there in the future. Folks in eastern New Mexico can get a free flu shot today. The Clovis Public Health Office and the State Health Department are sponsoring a flu shot clinic in Grady. It's going on from 9 to 11 this morning at the Grady Senior Center off of Main Street. The immunization clinic is free and open to the public.
Well, the Albuquerque City Council honored the cast of Breaking Bad with a special proclamation last night. Actor turned APS board member Stephen Michael Quesada was there with some other folks who worked on the show. Last night's proclamation came amid the controversy about the fake funeral held for the show's main character on Saturday. Yesterday we learned the Sunset Memorial Park will not keep the Walter White headstone at the cemetery. This decision comes following a flood of complaints.
Extremely saddened. We feel very disrespected.
Cemetery director says the headstone will instead stay at Vernon's Steakhouse in Albuquerque. Vernon's, of course, helped organize the fake funeral to raise money for charity. It was a